Hey, good morning, YouTube. It's your man Joshua Pondexter, business consultant, financial advisor, whatever marker you want to put on it. This channel is dedicated to wealth, right? Creating wealth, right? So, of course, there's the one that we typically focus on, which is money. We're going to talk a lot about that, but there's other sources of wealth, right? There's a rich and vibrant family. There's a rich life of contribution. There's a rich social life. There's a rich spiritual life. There's a rich, wealthy physical health, right? So there's more than one aspect of wealth, even though we're going to be talking about how to create it, how to build it. We will be touching on all of these stones that has to deal and relate to being a wealthy person. So those are the things that make you rich. This holistic approach to living. With that said, hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification button so you'll be informed when we upload videos or when we go live and things of that nature. So stay in tune. We're trying to build this channel. This channel is dedicated, the content that I'm creating is dedicated to young men. Uh, I'm not an old man, but I'm approaching that. So we have some wisdom to share with young men about what's important in life, what you should be working on. So work on the most important things, and life will be wealthy. It will be rich, right? So don't think this thing's about becoming a multi-millionaire. That's food gold, right? Only 5% of the people will achieve that goal because we got too many distractions, right? We got distractions of work, family, friends, right? So uh, have a balance, right? Because if you just chasing money, you're gonna lose all of that. You're gonna lose your family, your friends, your health. All that's going to disappear. Okay, so today's topic is tax-free living, right? So the biggest expense rather, that we have is taxes, right? So it's important that we deal with this topic if we're going to create some financial independence, if we're going to be able to retire with dignity after 20, 30, 40 years of working, right? Most people cannot. Most people will not because they won't get this balance. They pay those taxes, they stick their head in the sand. They think that tax strategies are only for the wealthy. But hey, you can mimic what the wealthy do, right? So this is what this channel is about, to show you how to mimic that. Not that you're going to be super rich, that you're going to have a yacht and a plane and all that. If that's the message you want, you're on the wrong channel, right? So, but if you want some fundamental things, how that after working 20 years, 30 years, how to um, get in that rare community of 5% of the people in America, right? Take 100 people at age 65, 95% end up dead broke, depending on someone else, Social Security, and their life. 5% end up good. So that's four end up financial independent, and one end up wealthy, right? So if you were to model these things that we're teaching on this channel, you can end up in the 5%, right? So it's going to take time. So I don't offer fast solutions and things of that nature or get rich quick scheme. That ain't what we're about. But if you want some fundamentals and some discipline and some time, this is the channel for you. Share it, subscribe, hit that notification button. Trying to build this channel. All right. We need your help. So let's get into it. So I always have a little presentation to show my people, but they're just not looking at me. Okay, slides. All right. Oh, okay. So let's add this to the string. So today's topic, this is brought to you by Joshua University. Right. I started a university, my own little university to educate my clients. Right. So we're expanding that to the YouTube platform. Right. So how to morally, ethically, and legally reduce your tax liability, tax-free living. Right. So it must, for me, it must be moral, it must be ethical, and it must be legal. The strategies that we give you, right? And the IRS code, 99% of it is geared towards investors and business owners, right? So, hey, and there's a lot, 6,000, 7,000 pages. There's a lot to take advantage of, right? And you can do it morally, legally, ethically, right? To get to tax-free status. So first of all, we must understand our total tax exposure. How much of our dollars is exposed to taxation, right? So how much of it? That is a humongous question that we need to answer, right? So income, both federal and state, that's a lot right there. So if you make 100,000, you can normally say you at about 38% exposure, state and federal, right? 50,000, you might be at 29, 31%. That's a lot of exposure. Sales taxes in the wonderful state of Illinois, which I live, them sales taxes are 10%, right? You need 10%. Every dollar is exposed to a dime. It's a lot. Excise taxes. These are taxes that are baked into products and services and good manufacturing, at the pump, at the utilities, cell phones. Those things are baked in, right? All right. So let's give you 2%, 1 or 2% there. All right. Property taxes depend on where you live. Illinois is a high property tax state, right? There's some people that live in the suburbs I live in that if they moved to Georgia, to Texas, just with their tax dollars, they could afford their lifestyle, right? So they get a house, all the expenses, $20,000 a year will take care of all your living expenses in a smaller town. But we choose to live in the wonderful state of Illinois, around the Chicagoland area, right? So property tax, business taxes. So if you're in business, you have payroll taxes. If you're self-employed, self-employment taxes. So taxes. So we must understand our total tax exposure, right? Critical. Let's look at some numbers, right? Income tax, both federal and state, and this is a broad sweep of taxes, 28.95% average nationally, because you have some state that don't have state taxes. Texas, Florida, might be some other places, right? But those are the major places that people are moving to. So if you live in Illinois, where the state tax is 5%, you make $100,000 a year, your spouse make $100,000 a year, and you move to Texas or Florida, you just gave yourself a $10,000 a year increase, saving in state taxes, right? FICA, that guy, Social Security, Medicare, right? Those funds that comes out of your check, 7.65%. Okay. All right. Sales taxes. I chose my sales tax 10%. I don't know if any other state has more. They may or may not. Most of them have less. That's a pretty high sales tax. Excise taxes, as we stated before, 1.1%, things that are baked into manufacturing goods, services such as utilities, gasoline, right? Cell phones, all those type of things. Excise taxes are baked in there, right? Property taxes nationally average about 4%, right? So that's a real issue. Business taxes 15.3%. So if you're a sole proprietor, LLC, some small structure like that, you're looking at that in your business taxes, right? That's a lot of tax to consider, right? Go ahead and do the math. Look at your exposure. The typical person have 50 to 70% of their income exposed to taxation. So you wonder why I'm not moving forward financially. Well, with that type of burden, who can, right? Who can get ahead, right? So now taxes, insurance, both homeowners, cars, life insurance, health insurance. Wow, man, we're in the hole, right? And you're going to say, well, why Americans are suffering and, richest country in the world. Look at this burden that we have, right? So you need a strategy, right? There are ways to reduce these legally, morally. I'm talking about all the burdens that we're talking about, the taxes, the insurance, things of that nature, right? Boom. So there's ways to eliminate that and free yourself from this burden. And I will not waste your time. Here it is. It's a business, right? I told you, business owners and investors, the Internal Revenue Code, which, depending on what source you go to, 6,000 to 7,000 pages, just volumes of information. 99% of it is dedicated to subsidizing the activities of business owners and investors, right? Just 1% to the W-2 worker, right? So all they want to is to what's the word? It's impound your taxes, right? They make a check, they take it out of the check. That's called impounding. You don't even have a choice, right? Before you get to spend any of your money, they impound your taxes, right? So there's ways to do this, right? But you need a business, because that way you can be legal, moral, and ethical if you run this business right, right? So let's look at that. So how to set up a tax-wise business. You want a C corporation, a LLC, limited partnership, S corporation, sole proprietorship. Now, sole proprietorship, you are in business, you're doing business, but you're not a business because you don't have a formal structure, right? But still, in a sole proprietorship scenario, you can still get all of these wonderful tax benefits, right? You just opted not to separate yourself from your business, right? And the legal and financial exposure that comes with that. But you still can get all these wonderful, wonderful tax deductions being a sole proprietor, right? C corporation, that's your standard corporation. When you set up a corporation, you have a C corporation. So now, what corporation? They are wonderful. All 500 Fortune 500 companies are in this structure, right? Because they want to sell stock to raise money. All other type of benefits that they can give to the corporation, to their employees. It's a very complex structure. There's a lot of corporate formalities that you have to keep, right? So C corporation, cool, right? It is the number one wealth building structure available to a business owner, right? So, but I don't suggest that you start with that structure, because there's another beautiful structure, limited liability company, the LLC. And the reason that it's popular is because it's easy to set up and it's easy to maintain, right? But if you want to keep your separation from you and your company, you still need to do corporate formalities like keeping minutes, having an operating agreement, issuing yourself stock, right? So if you want to keep your corporate veil, please follow these, um, procedures, and stay safe in the event that you will ever get sued, right? The possibility of getting sued in America is very high, being the most litigious society to ever exist. And that big word litigious means that people will sue you because you driving in a Range Rover, right? Because they think you got something, right? All right, so we're going to come back to the LLC, but the limited partnership, right? That's a cool structure. Can get kind of complex as a family limited partnership that you can use as a strategy to pass wealth tax-free among one another. That's what Sam Walton did with Walmart. That's why Walmart still owns the majority of the family does of the company. Other than that, that thing would have been bought from them a long time ago, right? S corporation is basically a C corporation that you file a form to say I want S corporation status, and that makes it looks like an LLC, a pass-through corporation, right? Once again, why do that when you can start up an LLC, right? So now let's go back and let's talk about setting up a business, a company. So there's a lot of information. Go set up a company, go set up your LLC, go get your EIN number, go get a bank account. And, your wrong answer, right? So in this world, because you want to separate yourself from your business. So if you want to start separating, do it correctly, right? So the first thing that you want to do when you decide to set up a business, you want to go to the internet, right? And you want to get a domain name, right? Because if you don't, it might be gone, right? So go to the internet, secure that domain name for your company. Then go and get a business address, right, from a Regus or all sorts of office sharing type company. So you can have an actual physical address, a brick and mortar. Well, UPS can be delivered to it, and FedEx and things of that nature, right? That's what the lender is looking for, and that's building business credit down the road. But you want to set this thing up properly because we'll have to go back and redo all these fundamental things. So now you have your domain name for the internet purposes. Then you go and get you a physical office address. Of course, you have already checked with your Secretary of State that your business name is available, right? Before you go do all that, now you go and LLC that bad boy, right? Joshua Pondexter LLC, if that's what you want to name your company, or a Blue Monkey LLC. So once you secure that, and when you put those state papers together, you have your corporate address, a real address, right? Now you go apply for your EIN number, right? And so that corporate address you're using with your EIN number, okay, right? So everything got to match, right? So all these things are matching up. Now you're set fundamentally, right? Then there's another 20 plus compliant items that your business must meet to get funded. But those 4 that I gave you there, we gave them to you for free, right? Now, I recommend the LLC because at any time in the future, year 1, year 3, depending on how you have grown your business, you can change the structure. You can change it with the IRS, the LLC, to be taxed as a C corporation or taxed as an S corporation. That's the power and flexibility of an LLC. So why would I do a C corporation? Well, because I want to have employees, right? I want to issue stock to people, right? I want to take my company public, So those are some of the reasons that you would make an LLC look like a C corporation. All right, and some other tax advantages. Like I was telling you, the C corporation is the number one wealth building tool in America, but it must be complicated because everybody's not doing it. All right, good enough, right? So since you chose the LLC, you need to have an operating agreement. It's not mandated by law that you do, but you need to have an operating agreement, and that's how you're going to operate the business, right? Of course, JoshuaPondexter.com, we provide all these services to you. If you um, need your things set up right, we set it up correctly from the beginning. So get you a robust operating agreement. If you are a solo member, that's only one person in your LLC, you need at least a 31-page operating agreement, right? So at least that. Then you need to issue yourself stock. So why am I issuing myself stock? Well, to show to the lender and to the world that I'm the person that owns this company. I own 50%, 100%, whatever. So since you a single member, you own 100%, right? So these things are very fundamental. So once you have incorporated, right, your company, or you have organized it as an LLC, which I am bullish on, right? Now you have your operating agreement, right? You have your EIN number, and now it's time to have your first corporate meeting. And in that first corporate meeting, the meeting is going to be what? You and you and you, because you're only one person, but you're going to have this meeting, and you're going to document this meeting that the first order of business was that you were going to select a financial institution for your bank. Chase, Bank of America, whatever, right? Whatever bank that you deal with, if you might have a relationship with your bank already, and you might want to set up a business account with them, because the more products and services you have with the bank, the deeper your relationship get, right? So now once you have documented that I'm going to choose bank ABC to be my financial institution, right? Boom. Then you go to the bank, right? Get that bank account, right? Document in the meeting that this is the date that I ratified this and got my bank account. So now you're set to start making the documentation, right? So I got my LLC. I'm getting ready to buy a car through the business. All these major purchases must be documented in meetings. So follow me how to set up a tax-wise business. It's very important that you structure the business correctly, right? And then the tax implication of your structure, the C corporation or the LLC, right? The beautiful thing once again about the LLC is that in the beginning, it's a pass-through corporation. All the expenses and the deduction can pass down to you, the business owner, right? So you got your $150,000 a year job, and you're paying taxes out the wazoo, but you're over here building a business, and you can take those expenses and boop, drive down those tax liability to zero sometime, depending on what you're trying to accomplish, right? So tax wise, got to be tax wise, because that's the biggest burden, right? It's the biggest burden. So whenever you incorporate or organize a business in the LLC, that's at the state level, right? C corporation, LLC, that's the state level. Now, how does the Internal Revenue Service view that company? So that depends on how you have it structured. So if you have the LLC as a regular LLC. It's a pass through. If you change it to S or C corporation, then it's going to be taxed differently. C corporation, one of the reason that a lot of people don't want to start with that, because they have fear of double taxation. You've been taxed, the company been taxed. I don't, the reason that they have that, because they don't know, right? I don't see Jeff Bezos paying no taxes. I don't see the corporation paying no taxes. They must know something, right, that we don't know. Well, you don't know. All right. So very good. There's enough on that. So let's move forward. All right. All right. So, all right. That slide is not showing very well. Let's get you a better view of that slide, right? Because that's very critical. Because we're about to give you the goodies now. All the things that if you set up a business that you can write off, right? And it is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay. All right. So we're gonna get you going here. Yep. This is what they call in the in the streaming, because you're live, right? This is what they call in the streaming world struggle streaming, right? So you struggling because you're new at it, you're learning. Hey, such is life, right? You're not going to be great out the gate, but we got some great information for you. All right. Keep them, let's see. Share screen. So if you subscribe, share, notify, so we can build this channel, right? Then we will have the technology for you, right? Okay. All right. So now, all right, we're trying to get this together, people. Bear with your boy, because we're going to get you. All right. So out of the box. So if you're going to set up your business, right? Here are some things that could save you tens of thousands of dollars a year, right? Let's look at this health reimbursement arrangement, right? So this is not health insurance. This is something that you have written for your company. It's called a health reimbursement arrangement, right? So the H, okay, struggle streaming. Okay. All right. Struggle streaming, that's what they call it, right? So this this I don't know if you guys can see that. I know I can't see it, so let's remove that. All right. So a health reimbursement plan, right? This is section 105 of the IRS code, right? So it's a medical expense reimbursement plan, right? So here's the beautiful thing about it, right? So everything you do, you want to do as a business. You want to pay all these expenses from a business. Section 105 of the expense reimbursement plan offer tax benefits both to employers and employees. So when you write this plan, you want to write it for yourself, for your spouse, for your children if they work for the company. And here's some of the things that it will allow you to get reimbursed, which is premiums for dental insurance for eligible employees and their dependents, right? So if you pay your dental insurance premiums, you can deduct that, right? So now for detail strategies, how to make this work for your situation, contact joshuapondexter.com, right? Schedule an appointment. We'll show you how to do it, right? Premiums for qualified long-term care insurance. Long-term care insurance could cost you $10,000 to $15,000 a year, right? And wow, you mean I can reimburse myself? That's 10 grand. Take that off of my business income. Okay, you see the dollar store clicking, right? Premiums for Medicare Part A and Part B insurance. So you retired, you need to start a business, right? Can you see it? All right. Premiums for TRICARE insurance, right? Can you see it? Expenses for medical, vision, dental care paid out of pocket by eligible employees or their dependents. So this is a lot of money. I don't know if you know, but it's expensive to have some dental surgery, right? So it's a powerful plan, and it's a written plan. You can this Section 105 health reimbursement arrangement. You can Google it. You can find someone that, companies that write these up for you. It might cost you a few $1,000s, but it's worth it, right? So these deductions make the process of managing healthcare costs easier. Items that are eligible for reimbursement includes deductibles, right? Co-pays, prescriptions, eye drops. All this stuff you can in this plan. Can you see the ching ching ching, the tax savings that you are saving, right? Because you're making $100,000 in your business, and all this stuff being reimbursed, taken right off the top, right? So you run that 100 down to 80. That's a lot of tax deduction. Flu shots, sleep aids, vasectomies, orthodontia, right? That type of stuff. OBGYN fees, right? Walking aids, acupuncture, vaccinations, allergy medicine, chiropractic care, right? So if you get chiropractic care and then you have a chiropractor that works with a massage therapist, come on now. Can you see it? Right? Contact lenses, dental surgery, laboratory fees, medical x-rays, acne medication. Well, drink a lot of water. That'll help, right? Organ transplants. That's an expensive thing. Physical therapy, prescription drugs, reading glasses, speech therapy. Some of us need that. Infertility, whatever treatment. You're trying to get a baby. You're trying to have a baby, right? So I was just this one news girl. She announced that she was pregnant, right? No man around nowhere. She went through that process, fertility treatment, right? So that stuff could cost you about $60,000 a try. So that's why poor girls can't get that done. Costs too much money, and then it takes 2 or 3 tries. So you might be out of $150,000 trying to have a baby, right? So if you got that type of cash, wouldn't you like to know you can write that off, right? So it's a whole lot of information to share on this plan. So I got it written down here so we can give you as much as possible. I'm not going to give you all of it. Medical operations, right? So all those things can help, right? And there's different rules regarding the fact, or if you're in an LLC, a partnership, a C corporation, or S corporation. So there's rules to this game, right? But I just want to make you aware that you can get this deduction, health reimbursement arrangement, section 105. It's a beautiful section of the IRS code that is designed for business owners. So you got your regular health insurance, Medicare, whatever, depending on what age you are. You have your you have all that regular stuff, right? The job is paying for it. It's coming out of my check through the job. Then so what? Don't matter. You paying the premium. Are you with me? Can you not see the value? That's a game changer. I can go ahead and stop right now, right? That's a game changer. I'm telling you, that could save you tens of thousands of dollars a year, depending on how many of them children you got, right? So now you're a husband and wife, and you got 3, 4 children. They have to be dead to go to the hospital with the father, but the mom, they can have a headache going to the hospital. Co-payment, right? Boom, those things add up. I don't know what they charge now, $150 a co-payment. That stuff adds up, right? So now I'm gonna tell you, health-related reimbursement. Your naturopath, you might take natural remedies. That's for your health, right? That's part of the program, right? And so we do apologize here. Let's see if I can see the rest. Okay, right. So that slide is not showing well, so we're going to remove that. We'll have to work on that better. But so here's something we're going to talk about: hiring your children. We're going to talk about travel, because I love business travel. Getting ready to travel next month, right? And I'm traveling for business, right? So what every entrepreneur should know about travel, entertainment, and deduction, right? Because you're going to entertain yourself when you travel, and can you commingle that stuff, right? Here's what every small business owner should know about traveling and entertainment deduction, travel deduction. Certain expenses for business travel are deductible as long as they meet 2 criteria, right? They must be ordinary and necessary, right? So if I'm doing business in Las Vegas, Nevada, right? I'm going to see some clients, and it is ordinary and necessary for me to get on a plane to go, right? Now, these clients I'm going to see, they're not super wealthy, so I don't need to charter a private jet. That would be like, no, that wouldn't be ordinary and necessary. But if I was going to consult with multimillionaires and billionaires, probably can get away with that, right? So in the course of doing business, they must be documented. So you must document everything. The IRS holds you to a higher standard, right? It ain't your regular bank account, right? This is a business, so you must document, right? So this is where people get in trouble, because they don't have necessary document, right? Ordinary and necessary business expenses for business travel may include, right, travel by plane, car, or train between your home and the destination, right? Yep, I definitely am. I gonna rent a car? I don't know. I'll see. Uber suits me very well when I'm traveling, right? Transportation at the destination, solar rides from the airport to your hotel, taxi trips from your hotel to the convention, the cost of rental cars, all those things deductible. And you can do mileage if you travel your own vehicle, right? The actual standard mileage cost for using your own or business vehicle for the trip, right? So if your personal car or your business or the business owner car, right? And so since a vehicle is the most deductible item that one can deduct in their business, the depreciation of the vehicle, the fuel change, the car washes, the repairs, all of that stuff can be deductible. The mileage, the IRS really wants that. So you should have a mileage log. Got to have a log and keeping track of what you're doing. So there's software that can do that for you, right? Parking, tolls, and costs associated with the use of the vehicle, right? Logic, right? So, well, kind of hard to get away. Ordinary, necessary. Did you need to stay in a suite? Well, yeah, I did. I had me and my spouse and my children who work for my company. Yeah, so I needed a Lord's villa, right? Meals, either the actual cost of the meal or the standard IRS deduction. So meals, you can deduct your meals, right? Dry cleaning or laundry service. So the best thing to do is that when you go on a trip is to don't bring dirty clothes back home. Do your laundry before you come back, right? And you can deduct it. All this is wonderful, right? Tips related to services above, right? So you're tipping people, so you can be generous, right? Because there's a law that states that generosity begets generosity, right? So if you want to be prosperous, be generous, right? Okay, so good. And here's what about mixing business and personal travel, right? You can do it, right? So if I took my spouse, my children, they must work for my company, right? And so, but mixing, don't try to write off stuff if it's not in the course of the business day, right? So if it has not business related, ordinary, and necessary. So we can show you how to do that and make that real, right? Entertainment, nightclubs or bars, kind of hard to do business in a nightclub or a bar, but if it was sandwiched between the business before or after, right? It was entertainment, right? Social, athletic, and sporting clubs, right? So, hey, what about going to a game, right? So, if when I'm in Vegas, if I want to go to a sporting game, and one of my clients who I'm meeting, we already scheduled appointments. It's on the schedule, and we'll meet the meeting, go see the sporting event, right? Or we'll go see the sporting event, have the business meeting afterwards. We're gonna get it done, right? Yachts, on a yacht, right? So, hey, I can have business meetings on yacht. Hunting, fishing, vacation, and similar trips, right? Providing travel necessities such as lodging, cars, and other transportation and meals to clients while they're visiting you, right? So, and that's entertaining your clients. So if you're doing all that, once again, there are guys that like to go hunting. So you hunters, right? Out there with all that hunting, right? So before or after your 6 hours out there hunting, do some business, right? Keep good records, right? Keep good records. So there's rules to this travel game, right? So let me just let you know what the rules are, so you won't be confused. Some of the basic rules. There's a lot of rules. So if you don't have a competent tax advisor or financial advisor that can help you navigate this space, you're going to be in trouble with the Internal Revenue Service. So here's the rules. Now, if I travel nationally for business, it's 100% deductible, right? So, but here's the caveat. I must establish a business intent before I go. I can't just show up in Miami and go like, oh, I'm down here for business. No. It must be established beforehand that I'm going there to conduct some business. Okay. All right. So how do you do that? Right. You contact the people that you want to see, depending on, say if you're a realtor, and or you're a real estate investor and you're looking, to buy some property. So contact some realtors there and go see some showing. Go see some houses, right? Go see some houses because you're a real estate investor, right? So that's the business then. So you sought them out online or however you find people through references or whatever, and then you schedule appointments for showings, right? Boom. How much time you must spend house hunting? So, and the IRS in the data is 8 hours. So you must work the majority of the day. The majority of the day is 4.5 hours. So if you go see 2 properties a day, that's going to take you 4.5 hours. So I would start at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning seeing those houses, and I'll get me my 4.5 hours in of viewing houses, right? So say if I'm a cake maker, all right, so there are bakeries, small bakeries in these cities. Just call them, say, hey, listen, I'm going to be in your city. I would like to take you to lunch and see your process, right? Pick your brain, right? Take you to lunch, and for an hour of your time, I will pay you, right? Don't be asking for stuff for free. You're a business person, right? So get that clear in your mind. Before you go, that trip must be already intended. It all must be planned, and must have a business intent to travel. And then all these wonderful things can happen for you. So wow, okay. So we got a day. So the IRS not only have a day, they have a week, right? So 5 days in a week, Monday through Friday. That's the work week. All right. So now, how do I stay multiple weeks? That's an advanced conversation. But how do I stay over the weekend? Right? Because you go there Monday, you leave Friday. Boom. That's what the IRS say. That's your work week. Now you want to stay over the weekend, Friday and Saturday. All right. And come back Monday morning the next week. So how do you do that? So say on Friday, it costs you $800 to fly back home. Interesting. So what you need to do is make sure that over the weekend, your Airbnb, your hotel, and your flight back Monday morning costs less than $800, right? So if all that was $500, right, you save the Internal Revenue Service $300, right? Oh, they like that. You are a nice guy. You're a nice business person. You save them some money. Beautiful. All right. So business travel, it's a wonderful thing. Domestically is 100% deductible, but you got to follow these rules. If you don't follow these rules, you get in trouble. And then if you travel internationally for business, it's 50% deductible, right? So how can that be done, right? Well, I'm a content creator. I'm creating content for my YouTube channel. So if I travel to South America and I go and I'm creating content down there, showing restaurants, showing outings and excursion because I'm a content creator. And then, by the way, I'm dropping in some financial pearls. This is all business intent. This is what this channel was about. Dropping financial knowledge, right? And showing you how to live the rich, wealthy life. Not talking about I'm a decimillionaire, $10 million, but the nouveau rich. Nouveau rich reach is the new rich, right? And the new flex is time, controlling your time. So we want to not only give you this financial information, but we're going to show you me living it out in actuality. Okay, very good. So business travel is a big one, right? Hiring spouses and relatives, right? Wonderful. I went to a restaurant for breakfast, and I almost uh, cried. It almost brought me to tears to see this strategy and working. So the husband, the husband at work had the restaurant, uh, and uh, the mom and the dad looked like they barely could move around. They was taking people to the uh, to the chairs, right, and inviting and welcoming the people. Woo. Don't you see that? They mom and dad on that limited Social Security money, right? Because I'm gonna tell you, they look like they were in their late 70s, right? And if they retired early, 60, 62, a retirement check, Social Security and retirement check look very small after 15, 20 years, right? And so, wow, when you want to supplement your mom and dad income, right? So they have a place for them to work, right? They had actual business, right? So you just have a consulting business running it out of your house, right? And you want to hire your children, right? So you can hire them. Yes, you can. And you can compensate them up to $12,000 a year, which you can write off your company and they don't have to pay taxes on it. They never see it because you putting away for their college expenses, right? So, how does that work, right? Well, I hired my children. So if you hire anyone, if you ever had a job, you know there's a hiring process, all right. And then when you get the job, there's a job description, right? So you need one of those for the little ones, of 7 years plus. You can safely work with the strategy, right? Um, Now you need the job description and you need a timesheet, right? When they clock in and out, right? And what you pay them must be reasonable, right? For the job that they're doing. Say, for instance, you got your little smart 11, 12-year-old. They're your social media manager, right? Man, that's $20 an hour, right? Yeah. That's at minimum, right? That's reasonable, ordinary to pay a kid that, and you got that kid working 4 hours a week. That's $80. It's a lot of money for a child, right? And they're earning it, right? And you're teaching them to earn, right? So that's uh, the rules. There's rules to hiring your relatives, right? So of course, when you went on that trip domestically or internationally, you had hired your spouse to work with you at the trade show or whatever event you went to do, right? And so now all the expenses for the travel, for the hotel, for the food, all that can be written off for those family members that work for your business, right? So if you hire your spouse, you can hire them as a 1099 person, right? But make sure they get their check, right? Boom, make sure they get their check because the tax benefit is going to outweigh any cheating, right? Anything that you're trying to do to, um, undercut the system, right? You can do it right and you can win. So travel, hiring your children, it's a wonderful strategy, right? All right. So vehicle, like I said, in the vehicle, when you put a vehicle in work for your business, it's the most deductible item. So I see you. Um, these big old fancy cars don't make sense to me, but you got them because the average car payment is reported to be $700 a month, right? I'm gonna tell you that's low, right? If you're driving a $60,000 vehicle and you have an 800 credit score, you might get 700 payment, $800. Then you got insurance, right? So I'm going to tell you that from my estimation, I think the typical car payment is $1,000, right? Wouldn't you like to deduct that in your business? That's $12,000 a year just in car payment and insurance, right? What about fuel? What about um, insurance? Like I said, insurance, right? Fuel, repairs, car washes, because you like to keep it clean, and you use that car 50, 60. Been a full-time business person like myself. I'm up to like 70, 75% ULIS. So what about I have 20,000 just on a car. You got $20,000 expenses. Wouldn't I like for my government to subsidize 75% of that? Come on. So they will, but you can get out of it. So you want to keep records. You want to keep records, mileage, when you travel, when it was a business expense, where you go. Software that does that right on your cell phone, right? Yeah, right here on your cell phone. The software, as soon as I jump in the car, it tracks where I go, and then it asks me, is this business or personal? That is business, right? And I can back up. I can take a picture of my receipts. It goes up into the cloud, right? I can have bank accounts, credit cards linked to that software. I'm keeping records, and technology has made it so much easier, right? Beautiful. I tell you, we love technology. So that vehicle, right? So you got one vehicle. Most folks got multiple vehicles. Got yours, got your spouse. Being a man, I'm thinking the spouse got the best vehicle, right? So I'm gonna put that to use when I entertain my top tier clients, right? Hey, let me take the Land Rover out, honey, right? So I can get some business use out of that, so I can deduct it. So 2 cars are better than 1 deducting, right? So excuse me. Once again, these strategies got rules, right? Can't give you all the rules here, right? JoshuaPondexter.com. Schedule yourself a consultation, right? I'm telling you, you will be blessed. You will be put on the right path, right? So schedule yourself a consultation, right? All right. So let's look at, and then business retirement, right? So if you have a business, you can set up your own retirement, right? Solo 401k, a SEP IRA, all those type of things, right? What the business owner set up. And the beautiful thing about it is that being self-employed, you can contribute more than to a 401k. So let's look at the SEP IRA. You can contribute 25% of your compensation. So say if you make $264,000 a year, you can max out on that contribution. If you are over 50, you can put $66,000 annually, right? Take that right off the top. Boom. Saving it for your retirement, right? So I'm retired already, right? And then you start a business, right? So now you still, man, look at the wealth you're generating for the next generation with the help of Uncle Sam, right? So here's another thing, the solo 401k, right? So if you, for 2023, you can put 30 grand into a solo. That's a lot of money. Boom, into a solo 401k, right? And then if you're over 50, you can do a catch up, which is $7,500 will bring your total to $37,500. $37,500 into a solo 401k. That's the product, right? You can do a solo 401k Roth, right? Meaning that the money that you dump in there when you take it out on the other end will be tax free, right? So look at this, right? So this the SEP up to 25% of your compensation, right? The solo 401k, say for instance, it don't have that restriction, right? So say I got my good pension coming in, I can put 37,500 into my solo 401k, making $50,000 in my little part-time business. I'm retired, right? Woo! You see how you can just dump that money over there, right? Boom! You're not going to get a tax deduction off of that money, but you're still young. You're 60, 65, right? At age 80, you done put a pot of money together more than you had in all your working life, right? So listen, the SEP IRA will give you that tax deduction if you need it. I believe as a business owner, there's so many other ways that we can morally, ethically, and legally reduce our tax liability, right? So with that said, this is some of the out of the box thinking. The health reimbursement arrangement, HRA Section 105 plan. Look it up, Google it, get you an attorney to write that up for you. You dental costs, co-payment, prescription, chiropractic, acupuncture services, right? Anything health related, you can try, right? Herbal remedies, natural remedies that, hiring your spouse and your relatives in your business. This is out of the box thinking, right? Travel is wonderful. As long as it's necessary, is reasonable, right? And is documented, you can deduct almost anything, right? Business retirement, right? So okay, so I'm already retired. Whoop de doo. Good, right? I already told you I've been doing this for 3 decades, right? And I've been dealing with retired people, and I have met someone who 75, 80 that retired when they was in their 60s, right? Boy, that check looks weak. They wish in that period of time that they would have started a business and did something else instead of sit there and rust and let inflation and all those type of the cost of living, taxes erode their money, right? So when they retired, they were good, right? It's having fun, right? No, when you retire, it's not time to have fun. It's time to think about the next 30 years of your life, right? Got friends that are 82, 83, 86. Man, they enjoying their life because they got that money. That helps. Listen, we've been on here long enough. We've been live for an hour. Once again, we hope that you have received value from this conversation, right? Can't give you all the information, but we want to let you know that your biggest expense in America, in the most industrialized countries, is taxes. The citizens have been taxed to death, right? The bulk of it are the working class people, business owners, and the investors walking away tax free. Taxes, they're robbing you of your youth. They're robbing you of your wealth. They're robbing you of your time, right? Do something about it. Contact your boy, Joshua Pondexter, at joshuapondexter.com. Avail yourself of, 50 minutes, an hour consultation, right? We'll put you on the right path, okay? Hey, we're going to end this session for now. Stay tuned, like, subscribe, share, whenever we upload some thoughts, whenever we come live, we come in with something to benefit you in your pocket. All right, brothers, sisters, peace for now.